Summary of My Beloved World by Sonia Sotomayor. Sonia Sotomayor is 7. She was diagnosed with diabetes following a series of incidents in which she passed out, and she was required to stay in the hospital for a whole week for medical observation. Sonia learns how to give herself an insulin shot so she doesn't have to listen to her mom and dad fight about who will give her the shot. Mommy and Poppy fight all the time, especially since Sonia's brother Junior was born and they moved away from the rest of the family to the projects. This is because Poppy drinks and doesn't come out of his room except to go to work and make dinner. Mommy gets through it by working the late shift at a hospital near her home. Sonia is angry that Mommy left her, but she goes to live with Abuelita. Abuelita and Sonia have a special bond, so Abuelita teaches Sonia how to choose chickens for the parties she throws every Saturday night. Sonia plays with her friends, especially Nelson, at parties. After a poem reading, the adults send the kids to bed so Abuelita and her husband, Gallego, can have a séance. Poppy doesn't come to parties very often, but when he does, things go wrong. Sonia goes to Puerto Rico often. There, she loves to help out at her Uncle Mayo's bakery. When Sonia was young, Mommy, Titi Aurora, and Tomeo took her to see Mommy's father in the hospital during one visit. Sonia can tell that Mommy's father is angry with her because she has never met him. In the future, she thinks about this memory and promises not to repeat it with Mommy. Poppy dies in April, when Sonia is 9 years old. Sonia thinks that things will be easier now. Mommy lives with her grandmother, Abuelita, until they move. Sonia is glad the fight is over, but she doesn't understand what Mommy is doing. Sonia doesn't understand why Mommy stays in her room and is sad, since she never saw her parents happy together. Sonia also doesn't understand why Abuelita stopped having parties when Poppy never came. Sonia gets lost in books to help her feel better. At last, Sonia yells at Mommy to come out of hiding. After a long time, Mommy tells the story of her life. Because Mommy's mother was sick, her bigger brothers took care of her. Titi Aurora had Mommy make her handkerchiefs, and when Mommy was 17, Titi Aurora and Tomeo helped her join the Women's Army Corps. Mommy did her service in New York City. At a party, she met Poppy. Then, Poppy was happy, loving, and creative, and Mommy fell in love with his family. After the war, they got married. Things didn't start to get worse until they moved into a bad neighborhood. When Poppy dies, Mommy is sad and scared because it means the end of her marriage. Mommy feels better after Sonia gives her a pep talk. When Sonia starts 5th grade in the fall, school is easy. She has been reading all summer and her mom has recently started speaking English at home, so she knows what is going on in class. Mommy is adamant that her kids go to Catholic school and buys them an Encyclopedia Britannica. Sonia learns how to study from a friend. When Sonia goes to the diabetes center, she gets a paper with jobs for people with diabetes. She is shocked that she can't be a police officer, which means she can't be a detective like Nancy Drew. But Sonia thinks that she wants to be a lawyer or a judge after watching Perry Mason. As Sonia gets older and goes to middle school and high school, her room becomes the place to hang out. She finds out that teachers are not the enemy, and Lord of the Flies captivates her. Mommy moves the family to Co-op City when Titi Aurora is in the middle of her first year of high school. Miss Katz, Sonia's history teacher in her junior year, surprises her when she says that students should learn to put together knowledge instead of just repeating facts. Kevin Noonan and Sonia meet later that same year. Everyone knows that they will eventually get married. Sonia wants to get better at public speaking, so she starts by reading the Bible in church and then joins Forensics Team, a discussion club run by Kenny Moy. A few years later, Ken tells Sonia that she should go to an Ivy League school. When she gets into Princeton, some school officials are upset that other top kids at her school didn't get in. Sonia has talks at Radcliffe, which is like a sister school to Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. Radcliffe is a mess, and Yale is too wild for Sonia, but Princeton is where she feels at home. She gets a full scholarship to school. Mommy takes Sonia shopping for a raincoat around this time, and Sonia falls in love with a snow-white raincoat in a fancy store. The saleswoman is rude to Mommy until she finds out that Sonia is going to Princeton. Sonia makes friends at Princeton, but she knows that she doesn't come from a wealthy family. She works hard to get better at writing and learn how to make points in her papers. During Sonia's freshman year, Abuelita dies over Christmas. This is very sad, but Sonia is able to help Mommy finish her license so she can become an RN. In her second year, Sonia joins groups for students from underrepresented groups, such as Acción Puerto Rico. She later argues for a course on Puerto Rican history, which opens her eyes, especially when she goes to the island during an election year and sees the politics she read about being fought in real life. Sonia can also see things about her own family in what she reads. For example, when she reads about women making handkerchiefs, she thinks of her TT Aurora. As a senior, Sonia gets into Phi Beta Kappa, wins the Pine Prize, and finishes summa cum laude. She didn't know what any of these things meant until helpful friends told her. In the summer of that year, Sonia and Kevin get married so that Kevin can move to New Haven with her so she can go to Yale Law School. Some of Sonia's friends are so smart that they scare her. During her first year, she meets the lawyer Jose Cabranes, who becomes her first boss. He shows her how to be a great lawyer who cares about the community and is proud to be Puerto Rican. Sonia writes a note for the Yale Law Journal about Puerto Rico's rights to the ocean while she works with Jose. Sonia works at a top law company in Manhattan for her second summer. It's a disaster. At the end, she doesn't get a job offer and feels like a loser. Still, the money is enough for her and Kevin to go on a vacation. They drive across the United States, and Sonia thinks about what she wants to do as they go. She laughs at Jose's idea that she work as a clerk because she would rather work for the government. In the fall, when Shaw, Pittman, Potts and Trowbridge has a hiring dinner, one of the partners is very rude and racist. Sonia's friends tell her to tell someone about what happened. The student faculty committee rules in favor of Sonia, and the company apologizes. One night, Sonia sees a show and decides to stop in because they are giving out free food and wine. She hears the New York District Attorney, Robert M. Morgenthau, talk about jobs at the DA's office. She has a job interview the next day and decides to take it. She drives 2 hours every day to get to her office in Manhattan. Within a few weeks, she stands out, but the first time she goes to court to plead a case, she does a terrible job. Her second case is also a mess, but Sonia and Don Carty, the lawyer for the defense, become good friends. Sonia gets along well with Judge Rothwax, who is known as the Prince of Darkness, and she soon starts going after criminals. Warren Murray, the new head of the bureau, tells Sonia to appeal to the feelings and morals of the jury. Sonia also starts to realize that being Puerto Rican is a good thing. She can connect with judges better than her more wealthy friends can. During Sonia's time at the DA's office, Bob Morgenthau tells her to give back to the community by joining a few groups that do service work. Sonia and Kevin split up in 1981. Sonia moves back in with Mommy and relies heavily on her friends, who tell her to buy a share in a group summer house and move out of Mommy's apartment. It's great to live in the same building as Dawn, and Sonia's old friend Marguerite helps her learn how to handle her money. Sonia loves kids and takes on the children of her friends as her godchildren, but she has a soft spot in her heart for Junior's daughter Kylie. But Sonia chooses not to have any children. Even though she doesn't choose to work instead, she doesn't think she could do her job as well if she had to take care of a child. In the end, she knows that there are many ways for people to start families. After her split, Sonia starts to wonder if her job is really worth it. She sees that she is becoming jaded, so she secretly plans to become a judge. Bob Morgenthau, on the other hand, gives Sonia a few big cases to try to keep her. She is able to bring the Tarzan killer and a number of terrible child pornography cases to justice. She quits when she finishes her last case. At this point, Nelson has been told that he has HIV. Sonia can't get over the fact that he died at age 29. He was always smarter than her, but before he died, he said that he didn't have the drive that she does. Sonia takes a job at Pavia and Harcourt, which is small but surprisingly forward-thinking for its size. Dave Botwinick, who is very fair, and Fran Bernstein, who writes very well and is interested in the new field of intellectual property, become her teachers. She asks Sonia to help her be Fendi's spokesperson. Soon, Sonia and the Fendis become good friends. She also starts to work on her image. When people first meet her, they are often afraid of her because she is so direct. Sonia becomes a partner at the company after 4 years of working there. But George Pavia and Dave make it clear that they know Sonia is going to be a judge. They just ask that she stay with Pavia and Harcourt until that happens. Fran dies in the spring from breast cancer, and Sonia is forced to face her own death. Even though Sonia's diabetes hasn't seemed like a big deal for most of her life, she has had some scary sugar lows that could have killed her if her friends hadn't helped her. She promises to be more open with her friends about her diabetes and her life in general. She also says she will try to make things better with Mommy. Mommy says that she didn't grow up seeing kindness and understanding, but that their relationship gets better and they get closer when they are honest with each other. In 1990, when Sonia got back from her Christmas break, she found an application to be a judge on her desk. New York Senator Moynihan wanted to nominate her. A few weeks later, she goes on an interview and says that even though she's only 36, she's spent her whole life learning to do hard things, and this will be no different. In 1992, after a year and a half, the Senate finally agrees with her. After Sonia says yes, Mommy and her boyfriend, Omar, move to Florida. Sonia also finds out that Titi Aurora has died. 6 years later, Sonia is put on the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. Her first job as a judge is to marry Mommy and Omar. She has a lot of gratitude for her friends and family, who were instrumental in getting her appointed to the Supreme Court in the end. She hopes that she will continue to grow as a judge. She considers herself to be quite fortunate.
About the author. Sotomayor was born in New York City's Bronx. She recounts in her memoir that her parents emigrated to New York City from Puerto Rico within a week of each other during World War II. Her mother was a hospital nurse and her father was a manufacturer. At age 7, Sotomayor was told she had type 1 diabetes. This news shocked her family. Her father died 2 years after that. Sotomayor went to Princeton, where she got her degree with honors. She got married to her high school boyfriend, Kevin Noonan, the summer after she graduated. They were married for 7 years, during which time Sotomayor got her law degree from Yale and started working at the district attorney's office in New York City. After this, Pavia and Harcourt, a business lawsuit practice group, hired Sotomayor. She worked a lot with the fashion brand Fendi while she was there, and in 1988 she became a partner with the company. During her time as a lawyer, she did a lot of work for the public good. For example, she was on the boards of the State of New York Mortgage Agency, the Puerto Rican Legal Defense and Education Fund, and the New York City Campaign Finance Board. In 1992, she became a judge in the New York District Court system. She was the youngest judge in the district and the first Puerto Rican woman to work as a federal judge. In 1997, President Bill Clinton put her up for a seat on the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. In 2009, President Barack Obama put her up for a seat on the Supreme Court of the United States. As a judge, many people thought she was in the middle of the political spectrum. As a Supreme Court justice, she often sides with the liberal group. She has been given several honorary law degrees.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.